I'm a pretty casual Lost Ark player, and I've been hearing quite a bit about this game's in-game. So today, we're going to be checking out a video on the in-game. If you want to see more Lost Ark videos, click one of these cards wherever it is up here and check out my others. Okay, let's get started. Also subscribe for more if you like this. So we're going to be checking out Formula Troy's Lost Ark in-game first steps and early in-game gear progression guide. So if you haven't subscribed to him yet, check him out.
Let's talk about the main things to do once you reach endgame in Lost Ark.
Look at that scorpion. There he is.
Once you've reached level 50 and have arrived at Vern Castle, the endgame content can begin. First thing I would recommend is setting the
That looks
waypoint
complex.
in the center of the castle to your hometown by going over to it and interacting. This way, when you're off in
Vern
different
Castle,
regions,
okay,
you can
okay.
use the Song of Return to get back here instantly without needing to sail back across the ocean. Quick orientation at the endgame area.
It looks pretty cool.
You're over here to run content and over here to work on your gear. And there's places
Okay.
to shop for certain things or access your stash throughout the city. You can run endgame loops from various cities.
I'm actually
throughout
excited
the
to get
world,
here.
but personally, I just think Vern Castle is epic, and it's always very populated, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, it looks
You'll have gear
nasty.
score 250 or higher by finishing the campaign, which is needed to start the first Chaos Dungeon.
So
Talk to
250
an
item
NPC
score.
here at the Chaos Dungeon entrance to unlock access. These are straight-up mobbing dungeons with hundreds of enemies.
Yeah, that's
These
sick.
dungeons will, however, drop blue rarity, gear score 302 weapons and armor pieces from their enemies, and you can run them twice a day. After your 2 daily
Dude,
runs, you should have a
it looks
full
so
set
fun.
of 302 gear and can now begin Guardian raids.
Okay, I'm going to pause right there. I like this because I grew up playing games like Gears of War. Their Horde mode, I could spend all day playing that.
This is because the lowest minimum gear score to enter is indeed 302 exactly, so you do need the Chaos Dungeon gear pieces in order to enter the first Guardian fight. Talk to this NPC next to the Guardian board to get access.
Zarbel?
And Guardian raids are all about hunting down a single boss in a large arena and can also be done twice a day.
Yeah, that's
Using
cool.
Chaos Dungeons and Guardian raids, you'll start increasing your gear score because both offer gear upgrade materials and crystals as rewards.
Stone fragment for armor,
You'll use
destruction
these
stone
rewards to
fragment for
upgrade your
weapons.
equipment and will no longer be finding better
Ew.
gear straight off the ground. As you collect these crystals, you will come to this vendor with the hammer icon to increase the gear score of your pieces by a process called honing. This is often referred to as Enchanting because of other MMO
That
RPGs.
looks
If you want
sick.
more details on how the actual honing process works and which materials are used for what, I do have a separate video on that, link in the description. But
That's gonna be
plainly,
fun.
though, gear score
That'll be
represents
fun.
the power of your character's base stats. Your attack power, health pool, defenses, all of these go up as you increase
RNG.
your gear score. By taking weapons and armor to this merchant and honing them to make them
That
sword
could be
plus
addicting.
1, sword plus 2, etc. It makes the gear more powerful and increases the gear score. Similarly, the quality of endgame gear represents the increase in bonus stats. Quality is super important on weapons because it gives more of the additional damage stat. This is decently important on jewelry as well because it gives bonuses to
Quality
those substats
79?
that really round out your build and make it feel
I was
better.
wondering what that meant on my character. I'm level 24. I know, crazy. And it has gear quality 100. So I was like, what is that? So I guess that makes sense.
Getting jewelry with substats
Oh my
you
gosh.
want and high quality is a big upgrade to the build. And then quality on armor is not much of a priority, or at least it's the smallest priority to get
So
high quality on.
quality
because
on
it only
armor
gives small increases to defense.
Is the lowest. Quality on armor is the lowest.
Each piece of your gear has an item level, and then your gear score is the average
Such a
item level
noob.
across your gear. So to reach gear score 600, for example, your weapon and all of your armor pieces need to be plus 15. Side note that jewelry does not increase
So you have to
gear
get it
score.
level
Jewelry
15
is
too.
the more
Okay.
RNG side of the gear system and can be used to give more interesting bonus stats as well as activate engravings. Engravings are powerful passive bonuses or detriments. But
So
for
that's
gear
almost like a
score
gem, I wanna
specifically, you're
say?
focused on the left side of the inventory to hone your gear. That's what unlocks new content by meeting new gear score thresholds.
Oh
Jewelry,
no.
along with this ability stone slot, is more about build customization and stat refinement. And by jewelry being the more RNG side, I mean that while gear is upgraded
This
in
is
a linear
complex.
fashion, with jewelry,
Oh,
you're just looking
no.
for better drops that you'd want to use. For example, getting jewelry with bonus stats you want, with the engravings you want, and with high quality is going to take a lot of lucky RNG to find that drop.
There we go, RNG.
There's
This is
6
too
different
much.
bonus stats, it will only roll with 2. There's tons of engravings, it will roll with only a handful. And quality is anywhere from 1 to 100. So getting jewelry that lands nicely for your character on all 3 of those
So
randomizations
prioritize
axes will
jewelry.
not happen.
Prioritize jewelry.
Also, should mention that in the endgame there are different prefixes for jewelry. For example, dark energy earrings. And you can only have 1 dark energy earring at a time. The other earring has to be something other than the dark energy prefix. So what should you focus on first with jewelry? If you have a class-specific engraving that really elevates your character, then that's probably your first goal. Work out engravings to strive for so that you start activating those powerful engraving
Madness,
effects,
Fast,
and your
Awakening
character starts feeling like it has a build versus just being a character that hit the endgame. Then you'd want jewelry that has those engravings along with the desired bonus stats you're after.
This is
like
too much.
Chance or agility, for example. And regardless of gear score, you'll always be looking to improve your jewelry or find jewelry to keep for a second or third.
So it seems like jewelry is
the gear score side of things.
The creme de la creme, the big enchilada.
+2, you'll have high enough gear score to enter the first Abyss dungeon. Entrance is located over here. You will need
Guardian
to have
Raids,
completed
Chaos
more of the
Dungeon?
story around Vern, however. These dungeons have short mobbing areas and then move into more mechanical
Bro, it's Bahamut.
boss fights that have things like full party wipe mechanics if not done correctly. This is the content that made me fall in love with Lost Ark. I hope it does for you as well.
It looks sick.
This is weekly content, and in the beta, used the 3 per week per character model that all the other
3 per
regions
week
had at the time. But changes in the Korean version might be for us as well, where it's actually only once a week per.
I think that's a good change,
but you
probably.
get extra rewards and raw gold.
It gives you
Anyway,
something
as
more
you
to look
complete
forward
Abyss
to.
Raids, you'll get some Abyss merchant materials. You'll come here to this vendor in order to use those materials.
Abyss
and buy
materials?
Your first purple set gear pieces. This is more powerful than blue gear in terms of base numbers, but also provides a very strong set bonus on top of that.
Damage
Eventually, this will
dealt
also be
increased by
back to the
10%.
base 302 gear, and your gear score might be much higher than that at this point. So it might seem like a downgrade or a material dump.
This is
to
pretty
catch this gear
complex.
back up. But actually, you can very
I'm playing a
cheaply
different game
transfer
right
the
now.
healing level of your blue gear over to your new purple set gear, 1 for 1, back at the hammer vendor, making this a straight upgrade and no need to rehone your new gear. I have a separate video going over that transferring process if you want to see how it all works. Link is
We're gonna pause really quick. I need to continue taking this game slow and not rush towards the end because there's so many things I need to learn before even getting to this point, dude. It'll all come together if I just continue taking my time. Let's get back into it.
Is also in the description. So once you have a full set of purple Abyss gear, you're going to be using that to push into the second page of Chaos Dungeons, the
second page
of Guardian Raids, and ultimately the second page of Abyss Dungeons.
Yo, this is so
As far as
dope.
we know, the second page of Abyss Dungeons and Guardian Raids will be the highest levels of endgame content we'll have. So you could call that the pinnacle content of our Western release on launch.
Year 1?
But that will only be for 2 or 3 months maybe, when more endgame content will open up.
That's pretty
The
dope.
first 2 pages of these endgame activity sheets are part of the Tier 1 endgame content. And Lost Ark in Korea and Russia, for example, is all the way up at Tier 3.
Okay,
along
what
with
is Tier
having
2?
Crazy extra raids and other stuff. So this isn't all there is, it's just all there is for the launch window.
Yeah, this is
While you're
crazy,
working on
dude. This
pushing
is
Abyss
launch.
Dungeons, the Abyss merchant materials from the second area of Abyss Dungeons are different from the first area. You will exchange these ones for the orange legendary armor set pieces, which
Ooh,
there
legendary.
are 2 different sets. So you'll pick the one with the better set bonuses for your build, and then transfer your honing level again, this time from purple to orange. That's then the highest rarity
legendary,
set in our
baby.
initial Tier 1 endgame. At that point, you're rounding out your gear score by getting it to plus 15 on each piece. This will be gear score 600 and what will be needed to progress the game once Tier 2 endgame comes out in a few months after release. The endgame expansions will have more story continents and endgame content, but you can only start that process on a character.
Dude, that guy's so strong.
600. You'll then restart the whole process again by doing early Chaos Dungeons in Tier 2 to get this time 802 gear.
That's pretty
your
dope.
Existing gear into that, and then honing upwards and onwards again. That's all down the line, but I wanted to mention it because there isn't a huge reason to go beyond plus 15 at the initial endgame.
Plus
you can
15?
push it all the way to plus 20, but doing so requires a lot of gold and star materials, which honestly.
So,
I feel would be much
okay,
better
I gotta
spent
remember
bringing
that.
up a secondary character.
15
up to
is
plus
fine.
15, so you have more than one character at that plus 15 threshold and ready to start the next endgame tier. This is versus one character at plus 20 or something whose gear gets instantly replaced as soon as the next continent is released. This is why I strongly advised against spending money on upgrade materials in the cash shop video, because tier 2 uses entirely different upgrade materials.
Okay.
And then tier 3 uses a third set of materials.
There we go.
So investing real money into tier 1 characters and materials to max them out or something is sort of useless, because
did you hear that, whales?
You'll pick up better gear off the floor in the first tier 2 chaos dungeon. For us in tier 1 though, to round out the video, early endgame for the western regions, we've covered in this video what's going to be our gameplay loop for endgame specific content to have on a routine farm.
That's just
Daily
tier
chaos
1.
dungeons and guardian raids with weekly abyss dungeons. Using the materials of all of them to craft abyss set pieces and keep honing those set pieces to increase gear score. This is how you gain access to higher and higher levels of content across all the pillars.
This is so cool.
At the same time, you'll be looking for higher quality pieces of the same rarity to transfer your honing level 2 to thus gain better bonus stats, as well as constantly looking for better jewelry with good engraving effects and substats. There's other activities to do, of course, like a solo tower dungeon you keep pushing levels on over time.
That sounds
entire
fun.
Other continents with more story, daily and weekly quests with various other rewards, but this is just the basics to get you started, get your gear score going, and understand the
This
full
is so
useful
insane,
progression of our
dude.
initial tier 1 endgame. I really hope this was helpful for taking your first steps into Lost Ark's endgame. We'll see you next time.
Bro, there we go. Formula Troy. Oh my gosh. When I see stuff like that, it makes me want to rush towards the end. It looks so fun. But I'm going to continue taking this game slow, because in the past, I've always tried to rush towards the end of games like this, and that leads to me being burnt out and not fully knowing what I'm doing. Not Lost Ark. New World, for example. I hit level 60 within the first week of that game, and yikes. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like this video and you want to see more, let me know. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy, everyone. Peace.